Starting with updates from the Israel-Hamas war, Hamas released a third batch of hostages as part of the Israel-Hamas Truce deal yesterday. A batch of 17, including Israeli and foreign national hostages, were released. The children and women who were held captives by Hamas landed at Israel's Schneider's Children's Medical Center. They were there for a medical and emotional evaluation after their release. The Israeli military has released a video said to show Gaza-bound 8 trucks. These trucks were seen at a border crossing with Egypt. The army said there were 200 such trucks. These trucks would undergo an inspection before heading to Egypt's Rafah border crossing. They will then be transported to Gaza from Rafah. Hamas has expressed their willingness to extend the 4-day truce. That is only on the condition that Israel release more Palestinians. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel is open to truce extension. That is, if 10 additional hostages are released every day as agreed under the original deal. However, Netanyahu added that the Israeli forces will resume military operations immediately after the truce ends. Meanwhile, the Israeli Prime Minister met with security forces inside the Gaza Strip yesterday. That is on the third day of the 4-day truce between Israel and Hamas. Netanyahu spoke with soldiers and commanders and received a security briefing. Thousands gathered in the streets of Jerusalem yesterday. They were protesting against Netanyahu's mishandling of the hostage situation and the war against Hamas. Protesters with Israeli flags, banners and signs condemned Netanyahu. They also demanded Netanyahu's resignation. Thousands of demonstrators against anti-Semitism marched in London yesterday. They were there to protest against a rise in hate crimes against Jews since the start of the war. Protesters carried placards with the message, "Zero tolerance for anti-Semites." Others showed the faces of Israeli hostages held by Hamas. Two people were killed and 7 others were injured by Israeli forces in the West Bank city of Jenin. This is according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. The ministry added that the 2 of those injured are in a critical condition. Meanwhile, a gunman shot and wounded 3 university students in the American state of Vermont. Reports say these students were of Palestinian descent. Investigators suspect it to be a hate crime amid the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. The shooting comes amid a rise in anti-Islamic and anti-Semitic incidents reported around the United States. In other political news, the foreign ministers of China, Japan and South Korea held a tri-lateral meeting yesterday. The meeting took place in South Korea's Busan. These were the first in-person talks held by the foreign ministers of the 3 countries since 2019. They agreed to restart cooperation among the 3 nations and hold subsequent meets. China's health ministry has urged local authorities to increase the number of fever clinics. This comes as the country grapples with a surge in respiratory illnesses. A high number of cases among children are appearing in northern areas like Beijing and Liaoning province. With many children affected, hospitals in the area are warning of long waiting queues. Doctors have encouraged parents to seek medical treatment as quickly as possible, especially for babies under 3 months old. A cargo ship carrying salt with 14 crew members on board sank off the islands of Lesbos in Greece. 1 person died and 12 people are missing. The ship had departed from a port in Egypt and was bound for Istanbul. Midway, it reported a mechanical failure and issued a distress call yesterday. Sierra Leone President Julius Maada Bio has said that calm has been restored after a curfew was declared yesterday. Earlier in the day, unidentified gunmen attacked military barracks. They also attempted to break into an armory in the capital city of Freetown. The president added that most of the leaders of the attack have been arrested. In climate news, EU's climate chief Wopke Hoekstra has urged developing nations like China to aid poor countries affected by the climate crisis. Hoekstra argues that high-emission emerging economies should no longer be exempted from providing assistance to vulnerable nations. The issue of financing for impoverished countries is expected to become a focal point at the COP28 climate summit. According to reports, US President Joe Biden might not participate in the COP28 summit. Climate activists group Greenpeace has accused China's oil and gas firms of greenwashing their LNG purchases. Greenpeace claims that the big oil and gas companies use low-quality carbon offsets to greenwash their natural gas imports, and that the companies are failing to make strong emissions-cutting commitments. Greenpeace argues that they are misleading the public as they are concealing their ongoing carbon emissions. According to a report by the Energy and Climate Intelligence Unit's think tank, British households have experienced a $757 increase in food bills over the last 2 years. This is due to the global climate emergency and rising energy prices. The report suggests a further hike in 2024. The think tank's study underscores the impact of extreme weather patterns and food production, attributing 1/3 of UK's food price inflation in 2023 to such weather events. Heavy snowfall in Bulgaria led to road closures and power outages, affecting over 1,000 homes. Meteorological authorities issued a red weather warning for 4 areas in northeastern Bulgaria. The department signaled at dangerous conditions due to storm Bettina's heavy snowfall and stormy winds. In Sofia, the capital, snowfall resulted in fallen trees obstructing roads. The air quality of India's capital city, New Delhi, remains hazardous. The cases of residents complaining of throat and eye irritation are also on the rise. Smog continues to blanket roads and buildings as the air quality index reached 330, which is classified as hazardous. Winter exacerbates Delhi's air pollution, trapping pollutants from various sources. Over 100 climate activists, including 5 children and a 97-year-old reverend, were arrested by the Australian police today. The demonstrators were staging a floating blockade at Australia's largest coal port in Newcastle. The activists used a fleet of kayaks, aiming to draw attention to the need to end the country's reliance on fossil fuel exports. The protesters were permitted to protest for 30 hours. However, they refused to leave, forcing an intervention by the police. In a race against time, animal shelters in Bolivia's capital La Paz are trying to save animals injured in massive wildfires. The volunteers are collaborating with firefighters to identify and transport the at-risk or injured animals to shelters for treatment and recovery. Bolivia is facing unprecedented wildfires this year, consuming over 3 million hectares of land in 2023. Nearly 100 lives have been claimed by the flood caused by heavy rains in Somalia. The country's disaster management agency head confirmed the death toll. Somalia and the broader East Horn of Africa have been grappling with unyielding heavy rain since October. According to the United Nations, over 7 lakh people have been displaced so far. On to business and tech news. Reports say TikTok owner ByteDance is planning to cut hundreds of jobs in its gaming division. This comes as the company is mulling to wind down its newest gaming brand. It will also unwind projects under development and weigh potential sales of existing titles. If this materializes, it will mark ByteDance's complete withdrawal from the gaming sector. Elon Musk will meet with Israeli President Isaac Herzog today. He is also due to meet the families of hostages held in Gaza. Musk is scheduled to join a closed-door discussion with the family representatives and Herzog. They are expected to discuss the need to curb online anti-Semitism. Elon Musk's meeting comes as he seeks to diffuse a growing furor over his endorsement of an anti-Semitic tweet earlier this month. According to a report, Elon Musk-owned social media company X is likely to lose as much as $75 million. The company may lose this as part of its advertising revenue by the year end. That's because dozens of major brands have paused their marketing campaigns on X, formerly known as Twitter. Earlier this month, Disney and Warner Bros. Discovery paused their advertisements on the platform. This was after owner Elon Musk endorsed an anti-Semitic post on the platform. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's brain chip making company Neuralink has raised $43 million. This comes as Elon Musk is expected to undergo a potential probe related to the company. Last week, 4 US lawmakers asked the markets regulator to investigate Elon Musk. This is to see if he misled investors about the safety of a brain implant being developed by Neuralink. Russia has added the spokesman of Meta Platforms, Andy Stone, to a wanted list. The Russian Interior Ministry had opened a criminal investigation against Stone. However, Moscow has not specified the charges for which Stone is being investigated. This comes weeks after Russian authorities classified Meta as a terrorist and extremist organization. Australia's competition watchdog has said that new competition laws are required in the country. This is to respond to the rapid expansion of digital platforms such as Amazon, Apple, Google, Meta, and Microsoft. The watchdog added that the expansion of these platforms has increased the risk of them engaging in harmful behavior. This includes invasive data collection and practices that compromise their privacy. Australia has appointed a new deputy governor for its central bank. Bank of England official Andrew Hosser has been looped in for the job. Hosser will be the first foreigner to hold the position. The position has been vacant since Michelle Bullock was appointed as the governor 2 months ago. Meanwhile, Australia's government will introduce new legislation this week. This is to facilitate an overhaul of the central bank. The legislation will include setting up a separate governance board. It will also scrap the Treasurer's power to reverse policy decisions. The legislation is the result of an independent review of the Reserve Bank of Australia. Indian financial firm Life Insurance Corporation, or LIC, is considering the establishment of a fintech unit. This was announced by the firm's chairman, Siddharth Mohanty. This will be a part of LIC's total digital transformation project. Mohanty said that the company aims to launch 3 to 4 new products during the current financial year. Billionaire Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has sold its entire stake in Indian financial firm Paytm. The company reportedly sold its stake at a loss of about 40%. In 2018, Berkshire had invested about $260 million in Paytm. This was to acquire a 3% stake in the company. Moving to sports, let's start with cricket. India beat Australia by 44 runs in yesterday's T20 match. The men in blue batted first and scored 235 runs in their 20 overs. Half centuries from Ruturaj Gaikwad, Yashasvi Jaiswal and Ishan Kishan helped India reach the big total. The visitors got off to a strong start but lost wickets in quick succession. Australia completed their innings at 191 runs with 1 wicket remaining. India now lead the 5-match T20 series 2-0. All-rounder Hardik Pandya has been traded by his India Premier League team, the Gujarat Titans. Pandya will now return to Mumbai Indians ahead of the 2024 IPL season. The deal was confirmed by the management of the Mumbai Indians. However, financial details of the transfer have not been disclosed yet. West Indies middle order batter Darren Bravo has decided to take a break from international cricket. This comes after Bravo was not picked in the West Indies squad for the upcoming ODI series against England. Bravo says he was upset of being left out from the team. He said, and I quote, "Without any communication, I have been left in a very dark place. West Indies will host England for a 3-match ODI series from the 3rd of December. Moving to football, Manchester United beat Everton 3-0 in yesterday's Premier League match. Alejandro Garnacho scored early in the 3rd minute for the Red Devils. In the second half, Marcus Rashford scored on a penalty to extend the lead for United. Anthony Martial scored the 3rd goal for United in the 75th minute. Aston Villa beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-1 in yesterday's Premier League match. The Spurs scored early in the 22nd minute on a goal from Giovanni Lo Celso. Pau Torres helped Villa equalize in first half injury time. In the second half, Oli Watkins scored the winning goal for Aston Villa. In La Liga, Real Madrid beat Cadiz 3-0 in yesterday's match. Striker Rodrigo scored twice for Real in the 14th and 64th minute. Midfielder Jude Bellingham scored in the 74th to seal the win for Madrid. In tennis, Italy beat Australia 2-0 to lift the Davis Cup trophy. Italian Matteo Arnaldi beat Australian Alexei Popyrin in the first singles clash. Then Italy's number 1 Yannick Sinner thrashed Australia's Alex de Minaur 6-3 and 6-0 in straight rounds. This is the first time in the 47 years of Davis Cup history that Italy has won the title. The Formula One racing season concluded yesterday. Red Bull's Max Verstappen ended the season by winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It has been a record-setting year for Verstappen after he won 19 out of the 22 races. Red Bull's Sergio Perez finished second this season and Lewis Hamilton from Mercedes finished third. The MotoGP racing season also concluded yesterday. It was a podium takeover for Ducati Racing this year. Francesco Bagnaia clinched first place. His Ducati compatriots Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi finished second and third respectively. A museum dedicated to the life of basketball star LeBron James has opened in his hometown of Akron in the US state of Ohio. Fans can now take a self-guided tour to the museum to learn about the life of LeBron James. The museum includes never-seen-before items from his life. His journey from a basketball player in high school to becoming the highest scorer in NBA history is highlighted in the museum. Pop star Taylor Swift met the family of the 23-year-old fan who tragically died during a Brazil concert. The official social media account of her Eras tour shared a picture of their meeting. The college student passed away from a reported cardiac arrest that is believed to be linked to Brazil's extreme heat wave. South Korean singer V from the BTS band is preparing to enlist in the military. The singer shared images of his hair being trimmed for the military service. On the 22nd of November, his agency, that is Big Hit Music, announced that he would commence his military services soon. The trailer of an upcoming docu-series on the South Korean boys band group BTS was recently released. The series has been titled BTS Monuments Beyond the Star. The 8-part series will follow the band's journey to stardom. It is slated to stream on an OTT platform on the 20th of December. Kanye West and Chris Brown triggered online public outrage for dancing to an alleged anti-Semitic track. They were grooving on West's latest song, Vultures, which released on the 18th of November. The song has a rap line in which West calls himself a disturbed Jewish person. Both celebrities faced criticism for allegedly mocking the Jews through the song's lyrics. Netflix has secured victory in a bidding war for Kim Kardashian's comedy, The Fifth Wheel. Amid competition from major players, two companies withdrew at the last minute, leading to Kardashian's deal with Netflix. The film's logline is undisclosed, but Kardashian plays the titular fifth wheel. Actor Emily Ratajkowski has expressed her wish to write a book on first marriages failing. In an interview, she said that there aren't enough books on this topic, as the taboo surrounding young divorce is still high. Emily Ratajkowski filed for divorce from Sebastian Beer-McLeod in September 2022 after 4 years of marriage. Actor Coleman Domingo has defended the show Euphoria amid reports of toxicity on sets during the production of Season 2 of the series. In an interview, he refuted claims of mistreatment and lengthy shoots. Domingo, who plays Ali Muhammad, denies experiencing the reported issues and dismisses rumors of on-set chaos as overblown. He said that some young actors may not share the same work ethic required for such tasks. American media personality Paris Hilton begins Christmas celebrations in pictures released on social media. Hilton showed her house decorated with pink Christmas trees instead of the traditional green ones. Earlier on Thanksgiving Day, Paris Hilton announced that she had been blessed with a baby girl this year, and to honor her daughter London's birth, she said she's embracing the holiday spirit by going pink this year. Actor Bradley Cooper said he wishes to reprise his role in the Hangover franchise. In an interview, Cooper said he would do the role in an instant, though the actor speculated that the makers might not be interested in a sequel. The Hangover series follows the misadventures of a quartet of friends. In an interview, filmmaker Taika Waititi explained why his Star Wars films is taking so long to develop. Waititi says he is aiming to capture the joy of the original trilogy. The director wants to introduce something new and meaningful to the Star Wars universe. Disney announced the production of the film in 2020, and the film is slated to release in 2026.